going. But yeah, it's been good, man. It's always great to get back home. Obviously, the weather was phenomenal yesterday, and all of a sudden it did a schizophrenic thing that it normally does sometimes here. It went from a high to low. We're here at Certified Piedmontese. The Mercado right now, man. This is hey, listen, this is the spot to be. I enjoy when we get a chance to do a show here. But most importantly, I get to enjoy doing a show right next to my partner, JD Bachman, the Boxster.
That's right. That's most importantly. I'm going to start doing the intros to kind of just play off the fact that maybe I haven't done quite as much of you in my life. I was going to say, as a for over 3,500 points in the NBA, so that's that's pretty good. I didn't really contribute to this, but also about 200 points in our Lincoln Rec League basketball. So I don't know how much points you have in that league, but I might have you beat there. See, so yeah, there's everybody's got their own accomplishments out here, and so maybe you can get my autograph too if you want to. If you want to be a mediocre Lincoln Rec League player, that might be
do something that I didn't get to do. You got a chance to visit a spring game out there at USC.
That's true. Yeah, see it.
SoFi Arena, or stadium, and all that good stuff. That's stuff I didn't get a chance to do.
Yeah, we've all got our own experiences, and we've all got our different paths to take, and it's been fun. But either way, it's both brought us here, and I think that we do an excellent show. We're going to continue to try to do that one for you today. The topic of the day, basically on 93.7 The Ticket, has been NIL and kind of the deals that are going wild. A lot of it has to do with the fact that Miami basketball star Isaiah Wong has threatened to enter the transfer portal if he doesn't get a bigger NIL deal. For what it's worth, he has the same NIL agent, which is apparently legal. You can have an NIL agent. You can't hire an agent for the pros, but for your NIL opportunities, has the same agent as Baylor Scheierman, who is a highly regarded transfer out of South Dakota State that Nebraska is on the finalist list for the top 10 there. So you wonder if that deal is going to come down to shopping kind of the NIL thing. For Nebraska, it's going to be important, I think, tomorrow with O'Shawn Mathis's deal there. But where do you kind of come down on all of this? It seems to be split. College fans, I don't know if it's right down the middle, but one way or the other, some people think it's good. It's going to add excitement, especially for the offseason where there's never any dry period. There's going to be transfers entering in and out. But others feel like maybe that opportunity is not going to be great for continuity on some of these teams as far as, getting to know your players, thinking they bleed your color schools. Or your school's colors, all that sort of thing. Where do you kind of land on where this is taking us here in year 2 of NIL?
So the thing is my issue is it's not black and white, and so a lot of us, just like in politics, just like in relationships, like if something happens in a relationship between the husband and the wife, or the girlfriend and the boyfriend, normally the family takes sides with whoever, no matter how right or wrong in most cases. In a lot of cases where the issue may not be necessarily a black and white issue, sometimes the story is not fully told.
Side of the story.
Yeah. So then everybody kind of falls into their own corners, takes a biased position, and then at that point you don't really get any full discussion because it's not necessarily black and white. It falls in some gray area. I tend to say that it's I heard some of your discussion a little bit earlier. I've heard some of the discussions on the shows earlier as well. I tend to fall in that it's, if you're not a professional follower of sports, that's where you tend to like and want to keep the purity and the innocence of the amateur aspect of the NCAA, right? And so what you tend to do in the past for the NCAA, you normally would get behind players that are involved there that supposedly bleed the blood of whatever that university is, and the university, because that's where your heartstrings are pulled at, right?
get some benefits from that. Mom and dad were able to send them down something every now and then. My parents were okay. If I needed something, I could get that. But there are a lot that didn't have those same situations. So that's where you find yourself.
It is that is the one part about it that I do feel a little bit weird is that and Adrian Martinez is well known. He made some pretty good money on NIL money, and he had a solid career and all that. We all know about not adding up to enough victories, and that's why he's off to Manhattan. But in any case, you can't argue that he's the quarterback that Eric Crouch was. You can't argue he's the quarterback that Tommy Frazier or Turner Gill or any of those guys. Most of those guys, Scott Frost, his own coach, was before him. And so it's kind of like the current athletes are benefiting off of what has been done, the work that's been laid for years and years and years. But that's how it is almost in every industry, I guess, until you make the breakthrough. And the breakthrough's been had, and it is. I think you're right on one thing that you said is that I think it probably depends on where you fall. As far as, if you do enjoy pro sports, or if the aspect of what people would say is the me type of culture over we, the sport, the team, has turned you off from pro sports, and that's why you like college athletics. Well, now that idea is kind of bleeding into college athletics, and it might turn you away from it. And I can understand that, but at the same time, if you do follow pro sports, you will learn very quickly that that as much as you want those players to be very dedicated and completely on side with the franchise that they play for, the franchise doesn't have that same sort of diligence or the same sort of loyalty toward those guys. They can be traded at any time. Cut. Yeah. And, so that always kind of struck me as kind of weird when people were turned off by that. But, it's always, it's like any, it almost is coming down to a job, and that's what people don't like about it for college athletics is that when you can understand it in pro sports, right? If somebody's offering, you can, and I've said this for years, I hate the Yankees. I'd never sign with the Yankees. Well, if I was a professional athlete and they offered me $2 million more than my beloved Red Sox, I got to look out for me. I'm in pinstripes. I'm going out there and hitting home runs. I don't care anymore about what I wanted as a fan. So I know that could be frustrating, but you have to look out for yourself, and and that's like in any job. If you're out there, working, whatever it may be out, if you get a competitor that offers you a little bit more, you might want to take that if the prospects are better for you. So it's just kind of interesting how we all kind of view it. I do think that probably hurts those fans, but it is a wake-up call, and it is, it's been, I think there's been a veil over this amateur athletics thing that hasn't been there for a long time, and I've argued it for years. The universities are the ones that benefit off of it. This university system, basically college football is a league that's been very well run as far as getting publicity and really cementing itself as part of the culture of the United States. To me, the universities for years have been kind of just grandfathered into the whole thing. Like, they're connected. It helps kind of the loyalty aspect for some fans that went to the university. So there's benefits to it. But to me, it never made sense to me. If you're talented enough to play college ball, why do you also have to sit in an economics class? And if you don't, if you get a D, why should that interrupt what you're doing on the football field? I always thought that was kind of strange. And for those that maybe don't, again, need to open your eyes to the fact that you don't see a whole lot of guys sitting out. I guarantee you if you took 250 guys or whatever, 125 guys at random out of college, they'd probably have more grade problems than the guys on the team do. Well, that's because things are kind of maneuvered around at times to help that out. So there's always been something, kind of in between, or some sort of problem with what you view as amateur athletics to begin with, and kind of marrying that with the university, the college system, all that. And now I think it's just being brought to light a little bit more, and it might turn some people off, and it will be harder for team building. But I think it's ultimately better for the kids to finally get the opportunity to more than anything is make money off their name. It was always silly that you couldn't sign autographs or, lend yourself to a car dealership or whatever, because the NCAA would just overlord you. And so, like, guys that would be, the Tommy Frazier's back in the day, or yourself, I mean, big time names, just were restricted from doing that stuff, where in any other job, that's just kind of a side go, sure, go ahead, go make some money.
And see, that's the thing, is a lot of people don't understand the time, the work, and all the hours that are applied, that it is a freaking job. It is a freaking job. It is sometimes 8-10 hours a day that most people are spending. And so if you don't look at it from that standpoint, yes, you're looking at it for preparation, trying to get to whatever the next level is, but also you got to look at the hours that are spent, because you've got to spend hours with your room, wide receiver, running back, lineman, whatever. You got to spend hours with your side of the ball, offensive, defense. You got to spend hours on the field. You got to spend hours in the weight room. You got to spend hours in the training room. You got to spend hours in study hall. You got to spend all these things as hours that amount up to a full day, and then to only get like maybe a few $100 in a scholarship check. You know, that, I mean, I never thought that was right in any form or fashion. And I had a balance in that I would hope that they would have got some form of a stipend. But they went a little bit further. They went into an NIL. Now it's negotiable. Any and everybody on the team can negotiate their worth on what they feel is out there for them and what that worth level is. And so that's where we're at today. And that's not going to change. Standards are being set. We'll see if they're met. We'll see if some regulatory parts will be put in place for it. I still think there still needs to be a side of regulatory issue to make sure that it doesn't provide just up and go all the time. It's just not this, jump type of method where, at a certain amount of time you have a time to do that, but then there's a restriction or there's some type of penalty that comes with that if they happen to continue to jump too much.
Yeah, and that's what they kind of set up. Again, you get the 1 year free transfer where you can go anywhere you want and play right away, but then after that you're gonna have to sit out. So it's not like you can just jump around from school to school without any sort of penalty. I know Nathan has a question there back in the studio. Nathan, you ready for it?
Yeah, I've said all my piece. I don't want to get too much into it. I just wanted to say one thing that I really disagreed with you on, Bach, when you're saying I don't know why it matters if a player gets a D in a class and they should be more focused on football. Well, you're going to school for free. You have the same academic standards as every other student, so you should be able to meet a certain requirement. If you go to school for free, it's still about school at the end of the day, and 90% of those athletes are going to have something to fall back on. The football scholarship is giving you an opportunity to have that education, have something to fall back on. But that was not my question. That was just me reiterating something that you said off of that. The question that I have for you guys, do you think that there should be some type of salary cap? Because the one different thing I think what we're all thinking about right now is college football compared to the NFL. And in the NFL, professional athletes do stick to these teams because there is a salary cap. There's a max amount of salary that each team has. But I think the issue you're going to run into is schools like Nebraska probably falls in this, Nebraska, Alabama, Clemson. They're going to have so much more money than these other schools that these other schools are just going to get left in the dust.
Yeah, that's a good question. And for what it's worth, again, I do like you pointing that out because that's good as the system is now. But I guess my point that I failed to say for the school part of it is that I always thought it was kind of optional. Like I said, I think that the football kind of outgrew the connection to the university necessarily. So I always thought if you wanted to be if you wanted a scholarship, great, go to school, get your scholarship. But if you didn't necessarily want it, maybe you should get what the scholarship was worth and then go play for the football team. I don't see necessarily a problem there. But, of course, that would kind of change, again, the athletics as we see it in the NCAA and the structure. And maybe that, who knows, maybe that's down the line. We'll kind of see there. But as far as his question of salary cap, what are your thoughts on that? That would be hard to do. But I could see it. You're kind of looking at as opposed to Major League Baseball, where they don't have a salary cap. You have your dominant teams that can spend all the money, and then you have your other, the Marlins or somebody that has their whole roster can't pay for one Yankee. I think you might see a similar thing certainly for I don't know what a poor school. I guess any of the Big 12 schools compared to the Power Five's top schools. The like you said, the Texases, the USC's, the Alabamas of the world.
Yeah, Texas Techs. You got your Texas Techs, and you got your. Thank you. We've got your Baylors. I mean, they've got that good, private money.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. How does even in LSU, how do they compete with Alabama? How does Texas A&M's got a great private system of money because they deal with the military
Right.
industrial complex. So, so some of those industries, depending on where you're at, like St. Peter's has no chance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Those types of teams have no chance. Cincinnati would have no chance against Xavier. Would have no chance. Creighton could do pretty, well for what they do in their system. So yeah, you're right. It's going to be an imbalance, and how they balance that out, like Nate's point, there's maybe creating some form of a cap, which then would limit the decision making that they have, and it would give kind of an equivocation across the board on all schools has a certain amount of money that they can apply. You want to give your full bag to, the majority of your bag to the quarterback. Maybe you got a receiver out here. There's a balance of that. And then the quarterback has a decision to make. Well, I may go here because the bag is a little bit bigger because of the cap is a little bit bigger. So maybe I'll go to Louisiana State. They've got a bigger. So now it makes equivalence across the board to an Alabama. Alabama's already given it to Bryce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For your second tier guys, this is what's available. I don't know how that would work.
It would just be so incredibly difficult,
It would.
again, because the NIL isn't an organized fund from the university.
Yeah,
If you capped it, how would you go? Like,
to monitor it.
if you capped it, how would you monitor it? And then how would would you stop the ticket from coming in and saying, well, I know it's capped, but we want to give this guy, we want him to have an opportunity to have a show here. And we want to give, just the smallest thing, somebody will say, well, I want to give this athlete $10, or we're seeing like the monetization that people are doing on like Open Doors will link you up to, but just like, you could say happy birthday online for $30. Are you're gonna cap that? I think that would be pretty difficult to do and hurt the teams that are most invested in it. I mean, that's why I like this whole thing for Nebraska, is that Nebraska has the interest, has the businesses around that want to, because these guys are stars in Lincoln, and that's not necessarily the case. Caleb Williams, even out there at USC, he said part of the reason he likes USC that he can go into a restaurant, nobody knows who he is. And in Norman, he can't, so, and that's a little bit of a difference there, but it's kind of interesting. I think it would be incredibly difficult to have some sort of salary cap. And I don't know if that would be great. Because
then what is the purpose now for the NCAA? You see what I'm saying?
Again, it's there for the small type of rules to say something like you can't transfer and play right away, that sort of thing. For the second time, there's not a whole lot there for
the big business of what they are and what they make.
Oh yeah,
and what they pay to their top tier. They're getting paid to do what? See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's maybe some of these implementations is something where hopefully their brain trust would be able to figure out a way for them. Maybe that's something I should do, man. Figure out a way for the NCAA to be relevant, because right now, what is the relevance?
Well, they have the name, they have the structure. I mean, they put together the NCAA tournament, obviously. But that's why there's been rumors for years. Is like, what if one day the SEC and the Big Ten wake up and say, let's just break away from the SEC or the NCAA. We can create our own rules. Again, this would be something, that those universities have to be involved with. There'd be a lot of decisions to be made, but there has been thoughts that maybe the NCAA has been getting in the way so much. And now it's not necessarily that it's a problem. It's just that it doesn't have much of a purpose.
Right.
But I mean, it will still come down, hand down, your slaps on the wrist and stuff like that. So we'll see what the NCAA's future is in all of this, but there certainly could be a breakoff from the Power Five or whatever, to create an NFL-like league without the NCAA. I think that could be a possibility down the line. Unfortunately, we're up against it, so we're going to have to take a break here, but we are live from the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This is On the Block. Strick is here on location, so come say hi to the Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NBA vet. Will be out here until 6, so come out, say hi to us, and while you're out here, buy one, get one free on all gelato and sorbetos. And of course, it is the Mercado, so you can get cuts of meat like the Porterhouse, T-bone, boneless New York strip, filet mignon, tomahawk, cowboy ribeyes, and more. That's all here at the Mercado. We'll be right back here on the Block.
Southeast Community College is training tomorrow's workforce today with our nearly 60 career and technical programs. We are doing our part to help employers fill vacancies during this current labor shortage, graduating students with skill sets employers are seeking. We're also helping to upskill the workforce by adding short-term credentials like certificates in many programs so that employees can get retraining quickly. Learn more about upskilling with SCC at southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
And we're joined by Yoshi Hardrick, former Nebraska offensive lineman, currently a Winnipeg Blue Bomber of the CFL, two-time champion. What was it like going from the Big 12 to the Big 10 1 year to the next?
Well, my first defensive end was 280 to 300 pounds. And every team we played had two tight ends in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we're about to play some football.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's only a room with shelves and books, but it's far more magical than it looks. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Instill a love of books and learning by reading to your children and grandchildren. Create a lifelong habit that leads to a successful future. I think that I shall never see a place that's more useful to me. Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air. When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
For our Friday, it will be mostly cloudy with a high near 71 degrees. We'll have breezy winds coming from the southeast at about 11 to 20 miles an hour with gusts as high as 30. Later tonight, we'll have showers and thunderstorms. The storms can produce heavy rainfall, a low around 49 with southeast wind up to 9 to 17 miles an hour. New rainfall amounts between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch possible. I'm Harrison Arns with 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Find great deals now on new Rams, Jeeps, and more during Ram Truck Month and the Jeep Celebration event at Baxter Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Shop our entire inventory of new and certified pre-owned vehicles anytime. At Baxter, we put you in the driver's seat.
The faculty and staff at Wilbur-Clatonia School District reminds us that most folks have enough sense to hold a child's hand while crossing a busy street. But the internet is an information superhighway, and unfortunately, it's replete with predators and cyberbullies. Make sure your youngster is neither a victim nor victimizer, whether chat rooms, social media, emails, and also text messages. Be sure technology is an aid to their education, not a threat. The faculty and staff at Wilbur-Clatonia School District working tirelessly for student and family safety. Our academic calendar is online at wilburclatonia.org. Call 402-821-2266.
They say one great thing leads to another, and that's especially true when you visit a Great Clips salon. When you sit down for a haircut with a skilled and friendly stylist at one of our thousands of convenient Great Clips locations, they'll not only make your hair look great, they'll make you feel great too. And that's something you can't help but share with the world. Download our online check-in app today and opt in to get a ready next text when you're up next. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station. Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here on the block live from the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. Come say hi. Strick is here on location. Of course, the Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NBA vet. Special for today only, buy one, get one free at all gelatos and sorbetos. And we are at the Mercado, so lots of cuts of meats like the porterhouse, T-bone, boneless narrow strip, filet mignon, tomahawk, cowboy ribeyes, and more. Come on down to the Mercado. You definitely won't regret it. So we're snacking on some of the snacks here, too. Absolutely delicious as always.
Phenomenal.
We will we'll give the NIL stuff a break. We've been talking about it all day here on 93.7 The Ticket. And so far out on the block, it is fascinating. It's changing the world of college athletics. So it definitely deserves more discussion. We'll talk about it all off season and plenty more for sure as we move on. But I did want to get to this. Of course, the NFL draft did happen last night. Lots to go through there, and we'll get through that and what it means for the NFL and those teams. But I wanted to quickly run through some of the stats that came out for the colleges, because I think it always is, it's kind of fun to see how it reflects on the colleges and what it kind of means. So let's go ahead and do that for you. So Strick, I'll just read off some of what last night's first round selections did for some of the colleges. We'll start with Georgia, the defending champions. They had quite a night. Georgia actually set the record for most defensive players taken in a single first round in the NFL history with 5. For much of last year, we're talking about how that was one of the best defenses we've ever seen. Somewhat got exposed against Alabama in the SEC title game. As you remember, Alabama is your SEC champions, but Georgia went on and won their the play-in game there, or I should say the quarterfinal game, to get a rematch with Alabama and took care of them. And so that defense is, I think, it is going to be looked at historically as one of the best of all time. Their numbers certainly said that. And now with this reflecting it in the draft, quite a deal.
Yeah, they had a really good run, especially in the first round. I mean, and rightfully so. They were solid. I mean, from the tackle position to the cornerback position, some solid linebackers, rush in. I mean, they had everything that you'd want. I mean, actually, Travion Walker, that was a surprise. A lot of people thought that Hutchinson was going to be able to land that first spot, but that wasn't necessarily the case, and that surprise there. For some, but to him, maybe not. And so a lot of people were wavering that was going to be the case going back and forth. But listen, Georgia did a wonderful job in the draft on yesterday. We'll see how they continue with that. Their offensive side has never been the ire of just of success on that aspect. They've just been managing and letting the defense kind of take care of things, and they end up winning games. But good to see like Jameson Williams and the wide receiver that tore his
ACL, James Williams,
it was good to see him still going. Even in his speaking with the media there, they were basically saying that he was not necessarily fully completed on his recovery, on his rehab. He still had some work.
He might
to
miss
do.
some time this year.
And so for him to still land, it's very well known that he is that kind of guy.
Well, and I thought he was that type of guy. I'm way more of a Georgia fan, was cheering for them than against Alabama. But I have to admit, I think if Jamison Williams stayed healthy throughout that game, he destroyed him in the SEC title game and was as well on his way to doing that in the championship game as well. I think you might have Alabama with another title. But either way, that Georgia defense, very, very successful. And we'll see. Can Kirby Smart load it up again? I mean, they've been recruiting awfully well, so I'm sure they can. But that is a lot to lose off that defense. I'm seeing a lot of preseason predictions with Georgia in the top 5. It'll be interesting to see if they can repeat what they did there. For what it's worth, by the way, Georgia's 5 picks that they had in the first round was more than the ACC and Pac-12 had as a conference. Each of them had 4 in the first round. So Georgia flexing a little bit on other conferences. Georgia also now ties Notre Dame, Oklahoma, and USC for the most number 1 NFL draft picks with 5 total in their history. Again, Travon Walker, a bit of a surprise though. And he's a guy that has like 5-6 career sacks. It's more about his potential than what he actually did on the field yesterday or last year. And that was kind of the whole Georgia defense, is none of their stats shined so brightly because they had so many playmakers all around the field. So it was kind of interesting there. I still think they might regret that. I like Travon Walker, maybe as a top 15 pick. I don't know about the number 1 pick in the draft, but for what it's worth, for what it does for Georgia, is now they're tied with Notre Dame, Oklahoma, and USC for most number 1 picks in history of the NFL draft. I mentioned the Pac-12 and the ACC had 4 picks in the draft. For what it's worth, the Big Ten had 7. The Big 12 did not have a first-round pick for the 2nd consecutive season. So not a good look for them. By the way, Houston, Cincinnati, and BYU, all teams that are going to join the Pac or the Big 12 probably around 2025, they all have had picks in the last 2 rounds. So maybe we all talk about Oklahoma and Texas leaving and how much that's going to hurt the Big 12. Would have helped them out as far as first-round draft picks if you kicked them out, bring in Houston and Cincinnati and BYU. And that would have helped out the last 2 drafts. Yeah, it's crazy. The last guy out of the Big 12 drafted in the top 10 was Kyler Murray, actually, back in 2019. So it's been kind of a dry run for the Big 12. Kind of surprised because Oklahoma's been able to put up some pretty good pros, and maybe not a surprise. Texas hasn't been down. They haven't had a first round pick since 2015. The amount of talent that Texas should be able to get. So that was kind of surprising there. Another note, with Derek Stingley drafted, now 10 of the 11 2019 LSU defensive starters have been drafted. So we all talk about how
the defense for LSU is always solid. Yeah. Last year, obviously, they had some Chase in those group, and also Burrow. That offensive core was by far their best unit, but. Yeah, mostly their defense is going to be they're very good in the cornerback position, maybe in the safety position. They're good at the defensive end. Sometimes they'll definitely put some out, but their defensive linemen usually are also pretty solid. So they're pretty solid across the board in their defense.
It's just crazy because you do talk about that offense all the time with Joe Burrow, and like you said, the Jamar Chase and the wide receivers that they threw out there, Justin Jefferson, but. That defense probably doesn't get talked about enough with now all those guys being drafted. The lone player, the starter that hasn't been drafted is Glenn Logan, and he might get drafted here, projected probably undrafted free agent. But for what it's worth, he does have a deal with WWE lined up, so you might hear about him too. And he's on his way to make
that's
some
the
money
that's the pro NIL money right there. Normally they jump over and get into the wrestling side of things. That's crazy.
At least not a bad idea for me. You can say he's a former, one of the best defenses of all time, though he might not have been the best player on that unit. For what it's worth there, too, as we're talking about LSU, since 2007, LSU has had 5 defensive backs selected in the top 6. All other schools combined have 5. I think LSU is DBU.
Oh, yeah. DBU. No question. I think one of the ones, before we jump into that was a surprise, was at the wide receiver position, right?
Lots of wide receivers taken.
So, the wide receivers went nuts last night. But my mind is drawing a blank right now on which one it was, and I'm trying to track it. But you will know. But the other wide receiver opposite of Chris Olave went before him. That was
Garrett
a surprise.
Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I think that, we talked about surprises, right? There wasn't like a whole bunch of surprises. You could kind of, even myself sitting there watching it, I can see when Pittsburgh showed up, at around the 23rd or 25th pick that they were going to go with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like we were
Great
sitting
moment,
there.
but
We
yeah.
were sitting there just kind of saying, okay, where are they going to go offensive, defense? There was really nothing crazy. Linemen, I think one good surprise was probably not a surprise for most of us, but definitely a surprise for Lamar Jackson was losing Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
That was, so like that's what we talked about. The surprises weren't necessarily going to be surprises outside of, just the draft part of it. It was going to be surprises internally. It was going to be with the teams, or it was going to be just some situation, or maybe some trades. That trade was one that was a big surprise. But for everyone else, that was good. I mean, them taking that call and basically saying, listen, you really want that? You're going to give us a first round pick? That goes higher than what they got for Brown, in his trade. So of course, for Arizona, that's going to be, for Baltimore, they're like, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You want him? Cool. We can find another one of him. We're run dominant anyway. We can find another one like him. We want that first round.
Well, it's interesting for Arizona too to do that is because there's so many. It's such a good wide receiver draft, and with Hollywood, you know what you're getting, right? He's a 1,000-yard receiver. I think Arizona has only had one since 2017. So maybe that's part of the appeal. He's Kyler Murray's teammate in college. All that stuff I understand. But the one thing that doesn't make a whole lot of sense there is the money that he's going to be owed. They're going to pick up his option on his 5th year, but you just kind of fast forward. If you would have drafted a wide receiver there, then you have a 4 or 5 year timeline where you can play on the rookie contract. Now they're like, oh well, we don't need. We're going to trade that and to know that we're getting a decent wide receiver in Hollywood Brown, but they're going to have to pay him.
You're going to have to pay him.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. That's what we talked about with the draft. And there are teams that did move in that vein. They basically said, we're just going to draft a guy. We're going to move this out of the way. We're going to draft a guy. We're going to retain his rookie contract, and then we may be able to pay somebody else that we want to retain, maybe not for as much money, because the linebackers right now, the wide receiver bag has changed tremendously. So let's go with the linebackers right now. It's maybe about $5 million less or in total overall, or maybe 40 million less in total overall that we would have to pay for the linebacker that we got, as opposed to having to pay this wide receiver now what they're asking.
Well, and that's what I liked. I liked what the Titans did in getting rid of A.J. Brown. Not necessarily that, right? A.J. Brown's an up-and-coming wide receiver, a 1,000-yard receiver himself. But basically, his bag's coming up. He needs the money. So they said, yeah, we'll trade him off to the Eagles, and we'll get the next A.J. Brown and Treylon Burks. And have a rookie contract instead.
A freaking carbon copy.
Yeah.
But I think he's got even more over-the-top skills.
Yeah.
And he didn't necessarily run a tremendous 40, but when you look at his tape, he's got on-field speed. Because you've seen him clear space from safeties, wide receivers, left them behind. They couldn't catch him, but he maybe just didn't run a good 40, but he on the field is a phenomenal talent.
And we always talk about Kenny Pickett's small hands or Joe Burrow's small hands. No problem there with Treylon Burks, who, as they mentioned on the broadcast last night, they needed to go in and make extra large gloves, because the extra large gloves that they made.
He's got some picket fences.
Yeah, he's got some huge hands. All right, let's get back to a few stats here from college football in the draft. In fact, we'll do that once we take a break. We're actually up against the clock. I have a few more stats from college football that's a little bit interesting. We'll also get into some more things here in sports, specifically Kenny Pickett, the new face of the Steelers, and how does that reflect on Mark Whipple? Hey, our guy, Nebraska offensive coordinator there. We'll talk about that next here. We are live on the block from the Ricardo, by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. Come on down and say hi. We'll be out here until 6 o'clock. We'll be right back after these messages on 93.7 The Ticket.
They say one great thing leads to another, and that's especially true when you visit a Great Clips salon. When you sit down for a haircut with the skilled and friendly stylist at one of our thousands of convenient Great Clips locations, they'll not only make your hair look great, they'll make you feel great too. And that's something you can't help but share with the world. Download our online check-in app today and opt in to get a Ready Next text when you're up next. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
For our Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high near 71 degrees. We'll have breezy winds coming from the southeast at about 11 to 20 miles an hour with gusts as high as 30. Later tonight, we'll have showers and thunderstorms. The storms can produce heavy rainfall, a low around 49 with southeast wind up to 9 to 17 miles an hour. New rainfall amounts between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch possible. I'm Harrison Arns with 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Spring has arrived. Dust off your clubs and play the city. Lincoln City Golf Courses offer 5 different places to play, including Holmes, Pioneers, Highlands, Mahoney, and the par 3 Jim Ager course. Plus, one membership gets you access to all 5 courses, or ask about a discount card that gets you 15% off all rounds. There's also adult classes with lessons for every level with Lincoln City Golf Academy. Learn more about membership and classes today at lincolncitygolf.org.
Wedding season is underway. Stop wearing your fading, wrinkling shirts and update your wardrobe today at M Suits Clothiers in Lincoln. M Suits has men's clothing for every occasion, from business to leisure to weddings and formals. And they've been chosen by Lincoln as best of men's clothing for 4 years running. The buying process is quick and easy with personal service that's hard to find. And they're family owned, where you are also treated like a part of the family. M Suits Clothiers, just south of 56th and Pine Lake on Red Rock Lane. Husker fans, your Nebraska softball team is competing for the 2022 Big Ten regular season title. There are 3 more chances to support your Huskers at home during Fan Appreciation Weekend, May 6th through the 8th. The team hosts Indiana in a 3-game series with giveaways each day. For more information on promotions, visit Huskers.com. Get your single game tickets now at Huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides: shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pine Lake. Let them fix you a plate. Brown's Shoe Fit is gearing up for spring with new inventory on the way. They're stocking up on new spring sandals and athletic shoes daily in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Keen, Merrell, On, and many, many more. Brown's has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrax. Spring is the season to be active and busy. Don't let your feet lose their support with old rundown shoes or sandals. Stop by Brown's Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Storage Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The Yard is at 8801 Highway 6 in Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction on June 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Eric Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
It is time for Shootout with Strick here on 93.7 The Ticket. Because we're live on location from the Mercado, we're not necessarily going to play the game, but we still want to give away $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. So we got a pretty simple way of doing it. Call in. Caller number 3 will be the winner today of $15 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. As we are live out at the Mercado, we'd tell you to come on down. Strick right now just signing some autographs, getting to know some people, actually reuniting with some old friends even, and maybe some foes, as he also did beat you on Shootout with Strick a couple days ago. But in any case, that's where we're at. We're at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. Will be down here till 6. So come on by if you get the chance. Buy one, get one free on all gelatos and sorbetos. So that's a good deal. Also, great cuts of meats, including the porterhouse, T-bone, boneless New York strip, filet mignon, tomahawk, cowboy ribeyes, and more here at the Mercado. We're always excited to be on location at the Mercado. Again, we'll be out here until 6. And one more reminder, too, for the Husker Autograph Series continuing tomorrow, April 30th, from 10 a.m. to noon. Kinsey Knuckles and Lexi Rodriguez of your Husker volleyball team will be out here to sign autographs as well. So plan that trip out here if you don't make it out here tonight, because either way, what we're doing for you is getting you some autographs. We're getting you ready to go. Strick, it's always fun to see the different pictures people bring to you. Is it mostly Mavs cards, Husker probably uniforms around here, or what do you usually see when you're signing autographs?
When it comes to cards, it can sometimes I've even seen some of the Vancouver Grizzly cards.
Nice, there you go. You don't even appreciate those.
A few New York ones. There's some New York ones.
Oh yeah.
A few Bucks ones. I've seen probably most of Mavs and probably Pacers. And a couple of Boston Celtics ones.
Yeah, you definitely had a great career along, in many of those stops. So I'll probably just get a whole list. I'll get all the cards and sign them out. I think maybe that'd be a good idea. Get you to sign across
right across the board.
Yeah,
yeah. I got enough of them that I got like kind of a little picture with all of them in there, just a reminder of where you've been and what you've seen.
Yeah, and you did share, too, this image the other day. You played on one of the coolest era of the Pacers, I believe. This one wasn't necessarily great for you. This one, Al Harrington shoved you out of the way, and he let your other former teammate, Paul Pierce, get a bucket on him as they were both talking trash to each other. But do you still tease Al about that sometimes? Say, hey, you know what? You should just let me guard him.
That's why I put him in the tweet. I had to let it be known that, listen, Al basically gave me the what Ludacris would say, move, Trick.
Yes, that's
get
right.
out the way. He literally gave me the get out the way move. And so I was like, because listen, I know Paul.
Yeah.
We're teammates. We played against each other at Kansas when he was a rookie. I kind of know what he likes to get into. And I said, this isn't going to be a good look. But better him than me.
That's right.
In the history of that replay. Better him than me. So I know a little bit better not to talk to him. So, you might have done that. Al wanted all that smoke, so I let him get it.
Still a big fan of Big Al Harrington to this day. I did love him when he was playing in the association too. I want to get to this, of course. We did again have a few more numbers I wanted to get to before we go to break. Based off the NFL draft in the first round yesterday, the streak continues for Alabama. Actually, they now tie Miami for the record for 14 straight NFL drafts with a player taken in the first round. Add that to the amount of just incredible stuff that's been done under Nick Saban there with the Crimson Tide. I know people get tired of it, but I mean, this is just another indication of what a dominant run it's been since 2009. They've had a first-round draft pick. It's just amazing, and more often than not, multiple first-round draft picks, to be honest. So it's just kind of crazy. Again, Miami from 95 to 2008 also had 14 straight. So we'll see next year. I'm sure there's a few guys I think at the very top of the board. If you look at it, Will Anderson and Bryce Young, that'll probably extend that and break the record for Alabama. And on the opposite end of that, longest streak, active streak now without a first-round draft pick hits 50 years for your Iowa State Cyclones. They've had one first-round draft pick in school history, 1973. They might have been holding out some hope that Breece Hall got picked. I'm sure he'll be one of the first picks tonight, but 50 years now for Iowa State. The next worst streak is only 29. Only 29, still quite a bit of time for Indiana, but Iowa State's got the clear lead on that. For what it's worth, third longest streak is Arizona at 15, so it dips quite a bit after Iowa State and Indiana. The worst streak in the Big Ten is 13 years for Rutgers, and Nebraska not far behind with 11 years since they've had a first-round draft pick.
I was born in 73, so that's been a long time.
My goodness.
Wait, no, I was born in 83.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You played pretty quick. You really grew up pretty quickly there in the 80s. But that's crazy. Yeah, that is crazy. I know Iowa State's not been a great football program for most of their history, but you'd think one guy going through there here or there, like maybe it didn't. What happened to Troy Davis? I know he wasn't a high pick, but they've had some solid players here and there, just never first round draft picks.
I'm Benjamin Buttons.
That's right.
But going the other way. But nonetheless, that's odd, right? But has programs been that bad that you would hope that over the course of time you find one Archie Griffin.
Yeah.
You find one Peyton Manning.
Somebody's got to wander into games at some point, right?
just one, and Aiden Hutchinson that just happens to be
Yeah.
from that town, and kind of got over, or Lindenbaum, that happen to just be there and just finds their way into the program, and then all of a sudden, voila, they're a first round pick. 50 years, my boy.
That's a long time.
Wow.
Iowa State football not in the worst position overall. They just haven't been doing too well. We're going to take a quick break here. We're live from the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. We'll be right back here with On the Block coming up next.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Brown Shoe Fit is gearing up for spring with new inventory on the way. They're stocking up on new spring sandals and athletic shoes daily in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Keen, Merrell, On, and many, many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrax. Spring is the season to be active and busy. Don't let your feet lose their support with old rundown shoes or sandals. Stop by Brown's Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate. If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Storage Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 Highway 6 in Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction on June 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is On the Block with Strick and Bach. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
93.7 The Ticket veteran and Ortega connoisseur, Jake Bakoven.
I like Ortega and I like pepper.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Strick and Bach.
Hold up.
We are sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. We're also live from the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese out here at 84th and Havelock. So, well, come on, stop by, say hi. Strick is here on location. We have also, when we come out here,
we really on the block today.
We are on the block, literally, here at the Mercado. And when we come, we also bring the deals. They set up some deals for you. Buy one, get one free here on all gelatos and sorbetos. And obviously, the Mercado is known for the best meat, I would say, in the Midwest, if not the world here. As we know, the meat in the Midwest, that Omaha beef, some of the best. But it's the best here. Great cuts of meat like the porterhouse, T-bone, boneless New York strip, filet mignon, tomahawk, cowboy ribeyes, and more. Some of I just like the name there, cowboy ribeyes. That sounds pretty good.
Hey, listen, tomahawk is a phenomenal steak. I mean, if you want to be full and have to eat it in 2-3 days, come get you a tomahawk.
Jeez.
The beautiful thing about the Mercado that I love, we're here on the block on a Friday, but they're here every day, 7 days a week from 8 to 8. You can find whatever you're looking for, meats, wines, cheeses, all the delicacies of a wonderful meal that you can put together. You can get it right here.
Yeah, one of the best restaurants in Lincoln on campus as well here. So lots to come out for. But before we move on, I do want to ask you, how do you get your steak cooked? Are you a well done, rare, medium rare type of guy? Or
I'm a medium plus.
Well, there.
So it's not medium well, but just a little bit over the pink.
Oh yeah.
Give me a little bit in that gray.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I like it barely cooked. I like it to be.
You like it ready, red.
I like pretty rare.
You big red for real.
Oh yeah.
You go big red for real.
I don't know. Yeah, it's I like it to be bleeding. That's how good it is. I'm a bit of a savage, and it's delicious. So I'll be looking forward to that. Also, real quick, did also want to say this: tomorrow they'll also continue their Husker autograph series from 10 a.m. to noon. So come out. You can meet and get autographs signed by Kenzie Knuckles and Lexi Rodriguez. Of course, of the Nebraska volleyball team, but more importantly, of Ticket Weeknights. Kenzie Knuckles is on Talking Trash, and Lexi Rodriguez is on Off the Court, and they have done great jobs, excellent contributions, and members of our team here at 93.7 The Ticket. So we're very proud of them, very happy for them, and happy for you to get the opportunity to meet them and get their autograph tomorrow here at the Mercado. So lots of stuff going on there. Of course, it is day 2 of the NFL draft, so congratulations to all NFL fans out there. I hope you had fun through the first round. round. It wasn't the most star-studded first round, but I did think that it was kind of deep, at least for the names that I know and watch play. The Big Ten, well represented, 7 picks in the first round for the Big Ten, and not overly dominated by Ohio State. Of course, they had a few in there, as they always do, but sometimes Ohio State will just kind of carry it for the NFL first round anyway for the Big Ten, but not necessarily this year. Of course, the first Big Ten player picked, Aiden Hutchinson, returning to Detroit, returning back to Michigan to play for the hometown Detroit Lions, and you can tell that's probably something he's looking forward to. We mentioned it briefly there, but what do you think about the Jaguars? They're risking it. You don't often get the first pick overall. They have had it 2 straight years here, but in any case, Trayvon Walker, a guy who's had 1 forced fumble in his career, just 6.5 sacks, I think, flashes potential, and certainly has the body for the NFL. 6'5", 272, edge rusher there from Georgia. But I mean, it was such a dominating defense that it's not surprising to say this, but he would kind of disappear among that group. We mentioned Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean's still out there to be picked. 5 defenders picked overall for Georgia in the first round. So it was a great defense, and it's understandable that everybody didn't get their numbers, but still, I think a lot of people were surprised by the Trayvon Walker pick, and I think he could have a solid career, but again, it's that. It goes back to even kind of Mario Williams. We talked about that the other day with Reggie Bush. When you're a number 1 pick, like Mario had a great career by all standards, but when you look at it as far as the number 1 pick overall, well, then you're being compared to guys that go on to be pretty great at times. So maybe not living up to that. And I think I could see a similar thing from Trayvon Walker. And in any case, whatever happens, they're taking a risk because they're more looking at upside than production.
And that's the thing. I think that they have done themselves a disservice. They've had tremendous opportunities to grab some pretty surefire guys, and sometimes they've taken a chance. But the issue with them is that they haven't built around whatever it is that they bring in. Trevor Lawrence, he's getting mauled every freaking weekend.
Yeah.
But they're not securing the tackle, his blind side. They're not getting him a strong running game. Obviously, Etienne has been hurt, so they try to get the running game, and then there's injury. I don't know if you show up in Jacksonville, what's in the water. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, after that one session, I think one of the biggest hits they hit was when they hit on Jalen Ramsey.
Yes.
That was one of the biggest hits, and he literally changed that organization for a period, especially on the defensive side. They were able to do similar to what Georgia does in college, and that they just have some solid play on the quarterback side, but their defense is what's helping you to win games. They're creating, short field situations, great opportunities and scoring opportunities. They're putting their offense in, and the offense is just finishing it off. And they haven't been the same since they let Jalen Ramsey roll. But Jalen Ramsey went over and made it happen. Where it's like wherever he's going, he's making it happen. So that's good for him.
He's an absolute difference maker. I don't see, that Jacksonville really turning their fortunes over with this guy. And that's kind of what you want out of number 1 picker, is at least, I just wouldn't be surprised that if 4 or 5 years after the newness of the number 1 pick kind of wears off, if he's just kind of another guy in the locker room. So.
I have a question, though, as far as, is there some woo going on out there? Because Aiden Hutchinson just happens to stay in Detroit, and find his way from Michigan just right down the road over to Detroit. I mean, maybe there was some discussion. Hey, man, you be cool on this. Maybe we'll throw you a little something, throw you a little bone down the road, or blah blah blah. Just don't take Aiden in the first, because why would you not take a surefire? Aiden Hutchinson is, I think, going to be a star.
Yeah,
I just think his motor, his mentality. And it's inbred with his dad,
right?
That he is a star.
And he's 6'7", 260.
Come on,
so
man.
Sometimes I think, because he has such a high motor, and you hear that about white guys from time to time, right? So you would think, okay, that's just what he is. No, he's an athlete. He's an absolute stud athlete, and like you said, it's in his bloodline. So a big guy. I mean, he's going to be great for the NFL. I don't know if I would say like he's necessarily, I don't know, Joey Bosa coming into the league.
Right.
I think he's maybe a step below that, but he's definitely got, like you said, I don't think that he's gonna fail.
I think he's mid-level. he's mid-level Wyatt, TJ.
Yeah.
I think not into the time TJ, but mid-level. I don't think he's TJ at peak.
Yeah.
But I think he can get to
TJ's
TJ at
Defensive
peak.
Player of the Year time
You
right
know what
now.
I'm saying?
Aiden might be down the line. So that's fascinating to kind of see how that plays out. Real quick for the Jaguars, though, I did like their pick later in Devin Lloyd. I've always been a big Devin Lloyd guy, so just wanted to give him a shout out. Very good linebacker out of Utah. Let's also hit on this, and it's another big talking point. One quarterback taken in the first round. Pittsburgh did not necessarily have a backup plan in place for when Ben was going to go ahead and leave. So they drafted Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh. Another guy, like we said, Aiden Hutchinson sticking in Michigan. Kenny Pickett now sticking with Pittsburgh as the quarterback there. And the only quarterback taken, there's been some questions there. I know some people thought they'd go with Malik Willis if they did go with the quarterback. They stuck with the local product in Pittsburgh. I know he's got small hands, all that, but he's a guy similar to Joe Burrow, and people don't like when I make this comparison, but he's got small hands. He's got the Joe Burrow small hands thing there, but more of the comparison is that he wasn't great for a majority of his college career. Absolutely exploded his senior year, and maybe and I could see him staying around a while there with Pittsburgh. For what it's worth, though, they're not going to hand the job to him. They've got Mitch Trubisky there. They've had Mason Rudolph kind of being the guy in waiting for Ben Roethlisberger. Hasn't probably turned the corner enough to where they were, look the other way for Kenny Pickett. But I think he's got a chance to get some seasoning before he's really battle tested there, and I think that'll help him out.
And that's what I would say. I say it's a quality pick that won't piss off the base. It's a quality pick that will allow him to not have overpressure, not be overpressured, to have to perform in the same way that Trevor Lawrence has to, right?
Yeah.
So he can get in there. Mitchell Trubisky is a viable starting quarterback solution. He is someone who is already there that can just be solid for you. He's not going to do anything, over the top or major, or he's not going to be able to, get guys with consistency deep, but he's solid. And so that'll allow the base not to be overly upset, not to be mad if Kenny Pickett is not necessarily at the spot that they want to be. I think they're looking at that as a long-term solution for them potentially.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because Mike Tomlin's never had a record under 500 there with the Steelers. Maybe can continue that. It's a tough division, but we'll kind of see there. Other news and notes from the draft. It was a wide receiver draft. 6 wide receivers taken in the first round. I believe that's a record. Also, a couple wide receivers traded for. We spoke briefly about that with Hollywood Brown off to Arizona and A.J. Brown off to Philadelphia. But the other picks there, Drake London, the first wide receiver off the board, to the Falcons. Garrett Wilson ends up with the Jets. Chris Olave, his teammate, with the Saints. Both of them had a former teammate that transferred to Alabama named Jameson Williams, who ends up with the Lions. I think he would have been a top 5 pick had he not torn his ACL. Other wide receivers, Jahan Dotson, well known around the Big Ten, goes out to Washington. So that'll make a pretty good pairing out there.
Here's something I was watching, though, Bach. I was really looking at the Green Bay situation.
Okay.
And I was watching it to see kind of what direction that they were going to go. They actually went defense. They went defense with their 2 first-round picks late. Maybe there wasn't a receiver out there. Maybe if you could have had Olave or Wilson drop a little bit, maybe they would have taken a receiver. Yeah. But with losing Devontae Adams, I thought they would have been looking to land a top tier, maybe a potential 1 type of receiver that can give Aaron Rodgers something that he would be looking for. But
yeah, that's not necessarily the Packer way. Ever since Aaron Rodgers has been there, they haven't had a receiver drafted in the first round. They believe that they can get the depth there. And I think you're right. I think maybe because as we talk about the 6 wide receivers drafted, this was a wide receiver draft because those were not just first round picks. They were top 20 picks. All 6 picked before the 18th pick. Green Bay didn't get a pick until 22, right. And then they had a pick at 28. Like you said, they took the teammates from Georgia there as they took Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. So, I mean, that's kind of where they're at. But they also, Aaron Rodgers coming out today and said it was surprising the news, when he saw the news, he wasn't necessarily briefed on it until he saw it, that his star wide receiver, Devontae Adams, was traded to the Raiders. So sometimes you think the communication, especially with a rocky relationship like that, would be very important to have Aaron Rodgers involved. But apparently, I mean, he's saying the right things. He trusts Green Bay to do, because he listed off as Randall Cobbs and all the guys in the past that they've drafted, that they've made stars out of in the past. But it is interesting. The Packers were up against the salary cap this year, so
that's where I thought they would have tried to. And
I
again, there might be somebody in the second round, possibly. Maybe there was no one that they wanted to stretch on early in the first round. Maybe there's something in the second or third that they're kind of hiding out on, and they'll pull the trigger on. But at this point, we don't know. We'll see as the nights tonight goes on and starts for the second half of the second round and third round.
Yeah, as I'm looking at it, the next wide receivers, like I said, after 18, no wide receiver picked in the first round. Best available now, Christian Watson of North Dakota State, Sky Moore of Western Michigan. Might be some reaches there. John Mechie of Alabama, maybe late second round. So it's just the talent drop off was quite a bit after the sixth wide receiver there. So maybe they were stuck there, but maybe you take those two picks and combine them and move up to get one. That was kind of interesting too, as we talk about the wide receivers being taken, was that after the first one was taken, I guess it was after, because Drake London was picked 8th. But after Garrett Wilson went at 10, both the 11th and 12th pick and the 10th pick, I think they were all traded up. So when the wide receivers started coming off the board, the other team said, all right, well, this is our time. We need to get the wide receivers because they're starting to go. Mm-hmm. And they certainly did. I still like Jameson Williams. I think that you're going to have a great return on a lot of these wide receivers. I think Jahan Dotson is a great pick for Washington, maybe a little bit overlooked just because of the other wide receivers in the league. But out of all these wide receivers, I love Jameson Williams out of that group. And it still amazes me what Ohio State's been able to do with their wide receivers, to have Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, not to mention Jackson Smith and Jigba, who'll be a top pick next year, setting Rose Bowl records last year and destroying Nebraska's defense for what it's worth. All of that in one wide receiver group, and had Jameson Williams on campus before that. Just incredible what they've been able to build out there.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, just the receiving cores that have come through there over the last 5 years have just been phenomenal. And what they've been able to do with them, and the quarterbacks that have been solid. Obviously, Mac has elevated himself to a better type of quarterback than he probably was even in college.
Yeah.
But Bryce is going to be one to keep an eye on as to how he develops this year. Is there going to be any drop off? Is there going to be any tailing off on what he's been able to do as such? He has so much poise. That is one of the things I noticed about him, just tremendous poise, great at making decisions and quickly reading and responding with timely throws when the throws are there to be open out of the route. So I love what they're doing, man. Love what they're doing down there in Alabama. Well, go ahead in the text line.
Oh, yeah, you just wanted to mention Mark in Holland says Steelers passed on a Pittsburgh quarterback once, Dan Marino. So maybe that's something they didn't want to do again. Dan Marino passed on by a lot of guys as he fell in that draft. Kind of a surprise.
Yeah. I would say that would be something that would be quite funny, but
haunting a little bit.
Yeah, I have a thought though. As I was just looking at it, right? We talk about Trayvon Walker, right? Very good in the run. Not so good in the pass. Could it be because their division is not very, pass oriented? Like when you look out west with like Denver, and you look out with Denver, and you look out with Kansas City, and you look out with
AFC West,
the AFC West, right? Just so you can tell a lot of those AFC West teams went with DBs or safeties, whereas maybe that's not necessarily the case in their division as to why they maybe chose Trayvon Walker as opposed to Aiden. Now, I think Aiden, he's very good in the pass rush, and so maybe that's the correlation that they were as to why they went 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just has to do with his upside without a doubt, but that certainly could be factored in there too. Jacksonville going defense with their first 2-round picks and especially that first round.
And need a line.
Yeah.
They need
That's what I thought.
line.
And
That's where I thought they would go.
I don't know if they graded out a offensive tackle maybe quite as the first pick overall, but then try to trade back. I think that was a bigger need for them. Not to say that they don't have other needs, but it's most important to keep your quarterback. I mean, that's their biggest asset is their quarterback of the future. And so I think you need to go line there. And it's kind of interesting too, to kind of see that play out as we're looking for these teams that do need a quarterback. They're kind of still out there. The Texans probably could use one. It'd be interesting to see if the Giants pick one up now that they didn't pick up Jones extra year. The Panthers are still out there. And so there's some teams out there that we could see. Malik Willis, that's kind of the interest as far as best available now. Malik Willis is fascinating to me. Nakobe Dean, maybe the leader overall of that Georgia defense. Saw 5 of his teammates drafted before him. That'll be fascinating.
That was a surprise,
Yeah, David Ajabo, who would be a top 15 pick had he not had a non-contact torn ACL, I believe. And so, where will he fall? He could be a great one. Boy Mayfield has been a guy that's been rising, and I expect him to get picked out of Minnesota pretty early on. I think he'll be a star. Other names to watch for tonight, of course.
Riddler is out there as well. Where
Riddler,
could he find himself at?
Sam Howell.
Could that be a backup out there? Could that be a backup solution out there in Cleveland?
I think that wouldn't be a bad idea to pick somebody up, right? And then, of course, I think the running back position is phenomenal. I think Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker will be make some All-Pro appearances or Pro Bowl appearances, I should say. I'm really high on Kenneth Walker. But as we know, the running back position, hard to get one of those guys in the first round. They just don't have the longevity anymore. But still, sometimes you think I wouldn't go too high with it. But once you get down into 15, 20, 25, I think maybe it's still worth a running back, but that's not the way the league now these days. They pick them in the second round mostly.
Second round, but if you're not a top tier guy, you might even drop to third round these days. You third, fourth, and you might find a gem in the sixth. That's the crazy part about how it's been going as of late. Gems have been found in the sixth.
Yeah, as we look out there, I mean, still, some other names, James Cook, Isaiah Spiller. As it falls down, Jerome Ford could be an interesting one. Hassan Haskins. I really like Kyron Williams over there from Notre Dame. These are guys that could be available, like you're saying, down later in the draft, not necessarily in the second round here and into the third round. It's an exciting day for all NFL fans. Second and third round of the draft, still big names out there. So that'll be exciting to follow tonight. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, it's time for Hitting the Hardwood. NFL draft might have taken most of the attention just because the NFL is the biggest thing out there. But the NBA had quite a night last night. Is it time to blow things up in Utah as the Jazz series comes to an end? Dallas moves on. Big story for Luka Doncic winning his first series. But for Utah, is it time to blow things up or maybe just for a slight tweak? Is Memphis and Minnesota going to 7? We'll find out tonight. And should the Pelicans extend Zion Williamson? The talent says yes, but he's only played 85 games in 3 years. So we'll talk about all that next in our Hitting the Hardwood segment coming up here on the block live from Mercado at 84th and Havelock.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Wedding season is underway. Stop wearing your fading, wrinkling shirts and update your wardrobe today at M Suits Clothiers in Lincoln. M Suits has men's clothing for every occasion, from business to leisure to weddings and formals. And they've been chosen by Lincoln as best of men's clothing for 4 years running. The buying process is quick and easy with personal service that's hard to find. And they're family owned. where you are also treated like a part of the family. M Suits Clothiers, just south of 56th and Pine Lake on Red Rock Lane.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
For our Friday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a high near 71 degrees. We'll have breezy winds coming from the southeast at about 11 to 20 miles an hour with gusts as high as 30. Later tonight, we'll have showers and thunderstorms. The storms could produce heavy rainfall, a low around 49 with southeast wind up to 9 to 17 miles an hour. New rainfall amounts between 1/2 and 3/4 of an inch possible. I'm Harrison Arns with 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pine Lake. Let them fix you a plate.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals. Hey, batter, 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 wings, splatter, splatter, splatter. Catch all this season's baseball action at one of your neighborhood Lincoln locations. Get League of Their Own wings, burgers, nachos, and ringers while catching all the action. Stop into Wings and Rings located on O Street in Meridian Park and 40th and Old Cheney in Williamsburg Village. Or place your order online at wingsandrings.com. That's wingsandrings.com, Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. It can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Storage Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 Highway 6 in Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers Great Plains Regional Auction on June 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln.
Husker fans, your Nebraska softball team is competing for the 2022 Big Ten regular season title. There are 3 more chances to support your Huskers at home during Fan Appreciation Weekend, May 6th through the 8th. The team hosts Indiana in a 3-game series with giveaways each day. For more information on promotions, visit huskers.com. Get your single game tickets now at huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boy, they do spoil us out here at the Mercado. Just tried some salted caramel bomboloni. I just learned that word, so maybe you can go Google it with me. Delicious, and I described it as an Italian donut they serve out here. Plenty to come and get out here at the Mercado. Mainly, they're great choices of meat, like porterhouse, T-bone, boneless New York strip, filet mignon, tomahawk, cowboy ribeyes, and more. For today, we're out here until 6, so come on by. Buy one, get one free on gelatos and sorbettos. Again, we're here at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and O. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket. And of course, it is the second day of the draft, so plenty to look at in round 2 and 3 as we move on here. But also some interesting notes I wanted to bring up before we get into hitting the hardwood with our NBA segment. First of all, a couple notes from the Husker land, I suppose. Freshman wide receiver Latrell Neville has entered the transfer portal. Perhaps just kind of getting lost on the depth chart. If you remember, Mickey Joseph a few weeks ago named that group of wide receivers. Latrell Neville kind of fell into that group of saying that you're no longer going to be able to sit on scholarship here at Nebraska when he was talking about his wide receiver position, because that had happened with a few guys, and that you're going to have to earn your spot or have to move along. I don't know if that is the case for Latrell Neville. I don't know if he's forced out. I don't know if he made the decision to enter the transfer portal. Was a 3-star coming in, but did have a lot of offers, some really good offers coming out of high school. So obviously wish nothing but the best to Latrell Neville as he enters the transfer portal, but just a short stint here with Nebraska as he moves on. Other note from things going on in Nebraska, they're in the top of the 9th there in Nebraska and Iowa. They actually moved this game up because of some impending weather tonight, but Nebraska entering the weekend series with Iowa at 5-7 in the league, which is at 8th, which you need to be in the top 8 to make it to Omaha to play in the Big Ten tournament. Might take another loss. We'll see. It's getting close. And the top of the 9th, Iowa leads 1-0 over Nebraska, who has had the scoring explosion, 41 runs in the last 3 games against the likes of Indiana, K-State, and Omaha. But the Hawkeyes coming in and looking like they might just shut out Nebraska in this opening game of the series. Hopefully not. There's just 2 more series here at Haymarket Park for Nebraska. So if you want to get to a game, make sure to do that this weekend. And I think they have another home series to end it out here in a couple weeks as well. But obviously wish the best for Husker baseball. Looks like they might not get the win, but you never know. In baseball, a 1 run, I know they're down to just a few more outs here, but it could happen. I think they're down to their final out.
I mean, the good thing is that there's not a lot. They've been having trouble in the field sometimes, some errors, some bad plays, but they just haven't had the bats going today. I mean, only 2 hits today has just been really tough. Iowa strung together enough to get a win. I mean, get a basic lead that has them ahead with 7 hits, and they just haven't been able to put runs on the board. And 2 hits is not really, unless you're going yard, that ain't really getting it done for you. You got to be able to string them together a little bit.
Well, it's kind of funny. It just seems always to be one thing or the other for Nebraska, right? Where the bats, you kind of figured it'd come alive. And so the pitching staff actually great gem of a game pitch today. But obviously, you're going to win most games when you only allow 1 run. But we'll see. They still have the bottom half of the inning. I think actually it's just the top of the 9th. So Nebraska being the home team, they'll still have 3 outs to go. And hopefully we'll limit Iowa there. Either way, hopefully they can take that series and get things headed in the right direction for Nebraska, as they are 17-23, I believe, on the year. Iowa, for what it's worth, not a bad baseball team, 24-13 on the year, 8-4 in the Big Ten. So that covers our Husker news and notes. Let's get to hitting the hardwood now. As we look at some of the action going on in the NBA, we'll touch on the Minnesota series, which is Minnesota-Memphis coming to Game 6 tonight, and it is in the Twin Cities. So we'll touch on that here in a bit. But first, let's get to the action from last night. 3 Game 6s, none of them leading to Game 7s. The favorites are moving on. The 76ers destroy the Raptors 132-97. Not too much to say about that game.
Not too much to say about that game. Just total domination. Finally had a James Harden the beard sighting that showed up and had a double-double. That's what they were expecting. Tyrese Maxey goes nuts in the third. So if they have that kind of flow in the way that they're playing, then they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough. But if they have the inconsistency there, you lose 1 or 2 games that you shouldn't, then you have a couple of close ones. That's how you lose a series. So they got to have consistency, and they haven't done it yet.
And we'll see, too. That was an interesting game. James Harden with 15 assists. I think that's more what they need out of him than when he's kind of focused more primarily on scoring. Just 22 points from him. How about the absolute gem from CP3 last night? 14 of 14 from the field. One of the best all-time mid-range shooters, one of the best all-time point guards. 14 of 14 from the field, 33 points as the Suns in the seasons for the Pelicans, 115 to 109. The Pelicans put up a good fight. It just became CP3 taking over Booker, who was, like we said yesterday, somewhat of a decoy out there, not at full strength, but did hit a big shot late with just 13 points for him. But all they needed was CP3 to have his perfect game, and he did. Brandon Ingram leading the way for the Pelicans with 21 points, 16 apiece from CJ McCollum, and that will end the season for the Pelicans. And kind of leads to the next question for the Pelicans is, should they extend Zion, who's only played 85 games in 3 years of his career so far? It'd be a big extension. He said he'd absolutely take it. He's interested in staying with the Pelicans, but I don't know. I mean, his numbers when he's on the court are phenomenal. So I think you almost have to extend him, but I don't know. It's one of those situations. It's kind of like Ben Simmons this year, where it's like, man, is he doing all he can to get back on the court?
There's where the risk comes. The risk is usually a problem for small market teams, right? Because I've seen small market teams reach trying to turn somebody into that type of player where they have a large bag, i.e. your OJ Mayos. They end up overpaying your Wesley Matthews. Like Dallas is very good at doing that part. They overpay hoping that these guys can turn into something. Zion Williamson is a tremendous talent. The risk is, does he really want to play basketball? Is his heart really into it? Is his mind really into it? If he stays here, will he be into it? And that's where the risk and the scare is. But the leverage is on his side because it's a small market organization. It's a small market team. That's where the problem comes. So you have to extend him if you want to keep him around. You can leverage him because there will be probably big market teams, New York or Brooklyn or somebody that will be willing to trade, where then at that point you look to acquire assets to add to your organization. So that's where I think they may want to look. They have to extend him. He is a piece and not a pawn. So he's one of those top tier pieces. He's like a queen, or I don't think he's the king. I'm going to say he's the queen right now, maybe the bishop or the rook, but he ain't, he's not a pawn. So he's got something that you can get back and acquire some pieces. So I think you've actually got to do it.
And of course, they made the move for CJ McCollum at the trade deadline. You have Brandon Ingram. So you do have some other pieces there that can build around. He's eligible to sign a 5-year, $181 million max rookie extension this summer. You have to believe if they don't sign him to it, I don't think you'll see him in a Pelicans uniform again, though, just the way things have been going. But he's still young, just 21 years old. He does have that deal. I mean, you have to talk about with big men, because he's got the weight for it. Are the injuries that we've seen, are they just going to derail his career? Is it going to be the fact that he's young? Maybe doesn't matter. Maybe his knees are just kind of the weight that he plays on too much.
But his weight, I think he carries too much weight. And I mean, even Barkley, when he was playing, he does a lot of the same stuff that Zion does, maybe not in the same athleticism manner that he does it, but Barkley even lost some weight. He had some on him, but he didn't carry, I don't think, as much as what Zion. Barkley, I don't think, was ever up at 280-ish or more. Barkley was in the maybe 260 range. It's 20 pounds lighter. That's a whole different range. So that's where I think the problem could be long term, because the pace of the game, the style of the game, the way that it's played and the way he plays it, it's a lot of stress on that body, man.
Yeah, and so maybe that could be another thing. If you want to elongate your career, is change the way you play too, which wouldn't necessarily fit his strengths. But you could always do the thing where you do that most of the season, and when playoffs come on, you wear your body a little bit more. We'll see if he makes that adjustment or what he does. But he does average for his career, by the way, around 26 points, 7 rebounds on 60% shooting. So, I mean, he is a beast when he does get on the court. The problem has been him getting on the court. The final game I wanted to bring up last night, very intriguing, Game 6, ending it for the Utah Jazz as they fall in the series. Like I said, in 6 games, and to Dallas. And for Dallas, it was notable because you would think Doncic would start getting frustrating if he'd been to 3 Game 7s his first few years and not won a playoff series. So good sigh of relief for the Mavericks, who have actually not won a playoff series since they won the title back with Dirk and Jason Kidd and those guys, Jason Terry, all the way back in 2011. So they kind of got that off their back, getting the win there. But all the focus seems to be turning over to the Jazz, who rumors were that if they didn't make a deep playoff run, they might blow it up there. If you're the Jazz, I'll tell you this, if you're blowing it up, try to keep Donovan Mitchell around, because that guy is fantastic in the playoffs. And I don't know what blowing it up means. I think Quinn Snyder is one of the best coaches in the league. Jordan Clarkson, one of the best won 6th man of the year last year. There's been rumored tension between Mitchell and Gobert, so maybe the idea is to move the Stifle Tower there. But I like some of the players they have. Bogdanovich missed the wide open 3, which would have moved into a Game 7, and he's a sharpshooter. Great drawn up play by Quinn Snyder, but sometimes it's a make or miss league. He ultimately missed it. What do you think about the Jazz, a small market team, blowing up a unit that's been very steady and been an obstacle for the Nuggets or the Clippers or whoever they play in the playoffs the last couple of years, just haven't crossed the line?
Well, they have a couple of pieces to do it with. I think more so you're going to have a better opportunity with a sign and trade opportunity with Donovan Mitchell than you would with Gobert.
Right.
I think Gobert is pretty much stuck there, and he has a large contract. It shrinks the areas and the places to where he can go, because he's not a stretch guy. He's in the paint. He's a defensive guy. Maybe someone that would be looking for that kind of play, but you're not getting too much off of him on the offensive side of things. Very limited there. Rebounds you're good on, but Donovan Mitchell is a piece that you definitely could do a sign and trade and acquire. That's the way the Jazz has got to do it. They've got to do it in the draft, and they've got to do it by means of sign and trade, because it's not a destination for where people want to go.
Yeah.
No slight to Utah, but it's not one of those destination places. So they're going to have to figure out how to use Mitchell, get him to be in a good place, and work with him, because I've got a feeling that he doesn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah, it does seem like that. They asked him in the post game if that's a team that he believes could win a championship, and what you're supposed to say is, yeah, I think we stick together, and or whatever you want to say. Yeah, I think we have the talent. We just coming up short. But he basically said he didn't know, because they had come up short the last couple of years.
Do well in the season.
Yeah,
just when it gets playoff
very
time.
formidable in the playoffs. And these games, their series are they're extending these series out into Game 6 and Game 7. This is 2 years in a row where they've had a double-digit lead blown in Game 6 that hasn't led them to Game 7. But
there's frustration by Mitchell in that too.
Absolutely.
That they're continuously doing that. Maybe they should transfer some of that frustration over to Minnesota, because they've been doing it regularly. So, that's been a problem big time for them right now.
Minnesota's probably had a successful season one way or the other just by making the playoffs, and then making this series interesting here with Memphis. Have a chance for Game 7 Game 6 tonight, so they can extend to Game 7. They're going to need to beat Memphis, but they've had Memphis beat. They probably should have the lead tonight.
They should have the series won.
Yeah, they should either have the series won or at least have the chance to win the series tonight. But instead, they're playing for their playoff lives. Young team. I don't know how far that excuse extends to Karl Anthony Towns. Definitely not D'Angelo Russell. I think they've got an absolute gem in Ant Edwards moving forward. I think that's the foundation you're going to build on. But what do you see? You see them extending to Game 7, winning on home court tonight?
I think so. I think it goes through Cat. I think it goes through Karl Anthony Towns. I think, you see in their wins, he's averaged almost 30 points a game, or a little over 30 points a game in their wins, where he shot about 16 shots, 16.7 shots or so in those wins. In the losses, he's averaged barely at 15, where he's only taken 7 shots, where there's no aggression. He hasn't had aggression at the basket. It's going to go through him. Anthony Edwards is going to do what he's going to do. It's going to go through whether or not Cat's going to show up and do what he's supposed to do as the leader of that team. But at the end of the day, also, they can't make Dumbo plays. They can't have the big ears flopping in the game when it comes to making solid plays. 20. You can't turn the ball over in these types of plays and closeout games. They've got to have a solid game across the board, and if they don't do that, it's going to be bye-bye, good night.
Yeah, interesting little note here, too. The Grizzlies average almost 32 points in the fourth quarters here in this series, which is almost 9 points more than the T-Wolves. So if they have a lead, don't think that it might necessarily last there into it. Also interesting, Steven Adams will not play in Game 6 tonight, so that might help Minnesota a little bit. We'll have to take a quick break, wrap up On the Block. Coming up next year live from the Mercado on 93.7 The Ticket.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? The worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
The best time to have your air conditioner serviced is before you really need it. Call Bryant now and schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. You'll stay cool and comfortable when you need it most. Just call 467-1111 to schedule your air conditioning check. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Wedding season is underway. Stop wearing your fading, wrinkling shirts and update your wardrobe today at M Suits Clothiers in Lincoln. M Suits has men's clothing for every occasion, from business to leisure to weddings and formals. And they've been chosen by Lincoln as best of men's clothing for 4 years running. The buying process is quick and easy with personal service that's hard to find. And they're family owned, where you are also treated like a part of the family. M Suits Clothiers, just south of 56th and Pine Lake on Red Rock Lane.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Join us at Cactus by Venue for our new America's Favorites menu. We're keeping your favorite dips and tacos and adding brand new dishes, including delicious steaks, burgers, pastas, and more. Focusing on vibrant casual dining using a blend of fresh ingredients prepared from scratch. Located at 56 and Highway 2 in the Edgewood Shopping Center, see the whole menu online at cactusbyvenue.com and order yours to go at venuedelivered.com. Cactus by Venue, America's Favorites.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Hello, I'm Charlie Stone, back with the latest news from Honda of Lincoln. Joining me now is the general manager, Andy Goodyear. Hey, Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Charlie.
Hey, Andy, with spring right around the corner, how is your supply of new Hondas and pre-owned vehicles?
Really good, Charlie. As I've said before, when you drive by our lot, you don't see what you're looking for, just remember we have hundreds of new Hondas arriving soon, with Honda continuing to offer 0.9% APR financing to qualified buyers. Plus, we have over 125 pre-owned vehicles in stock and ready for immediate delivery.
That's great, Andy. Any more great news?
There is, Charlie. Honda just announced financing from 0.99% APR on certified pre-owned Hondas for qualified buyers.
So come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Work, laundry, dishes. I was exhausted. I needed a vacation, but finding a way to pay for it, not so easy. Then I found it. A research study at Solarion. I searched the studies and found a perfect match for me. It was so easy. I earned cash for the study and booked that vacation. Plus, I made an impact on medical research. Find a study and sign up today at helpresearch.com.
You should consider the risks of the research before you agree to participate.
Back to On the Block with Strick and Bach on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Revving up On the Block here live from the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. I'm Jake Bachman. He is Eric Strickland, the Husker Hall of Famer, longtime NBA bet. By the way, the special for today at the Mercado, if you want to run quickly down here and get it, buy one, get one free on all gelatos and sorbetos. The Mercado is open 7 days a week, so you can come out here tomorrow as well. You should for the Husker Autograph Series tomorrow, April 30th from 10 a.m. to noon. Kenzie Knuckles and Lexi Rodriguez, two of the stars from the volleyball team, will be on hand to sign some autographs for you while you get some great deals on your food. Kenzie Knuckles, obviously, of Talking Trash, and Lexi Rodriguez off the court for Ticket Weeknights here on 93.7 The Ticket. They've been doing a great job. Quickly want to update you on some of the stories that we've been talking about today. Huskers do end up losing there at Haymarket Park based off a two-hitter thrown by Adam Mazur of the Iowa pitching staff. Nebraska just 2 hits coming off 41 runs in their last 3 games, but not so today. So Nebraska loses the series opener there. Also, interesting note that kind of spurned all our NIL talk today was Miami basketball star Isaiah Wong, who had said earlier in the day that he was thinking about entering the transfer portal if he didn't get a new NIL deal. This coming off the fact that Miami has basically been one of the best schools at putting these things together. They got the Kansas State star basketball player. They got some star Fresno State women's basketball players, some UCLA football players, all on these deals. And Isaiah Wong felt, hey, I'm the guy leading us to the Elite Eight. Why are all the new guys getting all the money? He's now backtracked, said he will not enter the transfer portal and keep his current NIL deal. But he's probably made enough noise that maybe some local businesses might be interested in him once again. So kind of interesting as we've kind of seen that put together. Strick, what are your plans for the night? Going to watch the draft?
I think I'm going to watch more of the draft, see what's going on out there, see if any of our guys can get stretched in upward mobilities. And I think we'll see our guy. Which one?
Who's going first?
That's what I'm trying to say.
I think Cam
Jurgens is
Jurgens. Yeah, I think Cam Jurgens. It's between the Cams. Cam Taylor Britt or Cam Jurgens.
Yeah.
We'll see. Second round or third? Are you thinking anybody in the second round? Do you think Cam Jurgens?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe Jurgens. If anybody can be stretched, maybe him late second.
Yeah. I'd love to see it. We'll all be hoping for the former Huskers there. Maybe even JoJo Domann gets picked tonight. I wouldn't say that would be too surprising. I'd more likely see him in the 4th round, but we'll kind of see. It'll be an interesting draft weekend for the Huskers and for your teams out there. Thanks for joining us here on The Block. We have been live from the Mercado, so thanks to Mercado for hosting us. Have an excellent weekend. We'll be back on Monday to entertain you some more. Thanks once again. Have a great weekend.
Hey, batter, batter, batter. Wings, splatter, splatter, splatter.